Welcome back to Mettle Labs. Excited to have my main men back with me today. And,
Yes, sir. This
you
the
know,
reunion.
it's a reunion, bringing it back.
First time, that's right.
2025, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, of course, we always is tackling and banging at behavior health, emotional wellness, and things like that. And so the topic for today, we want to talk about shame. Shame is of course that feeling that you feel that makes you feel like you less than.
Right.
Sometimes we've mentioned it in the past when we talk about the felt minus.
Yeah.
But since we all of us are originally from the area, we use a word that most of us heard growing up, and you was on the bad end of it. You felt that shame, and that's when you get called a Bama.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Cold Bama.
yeah, it's fun thing. It's like, growing up in the area, you would walk a fine line to try to keep from being considered a Bama.
Right. Right.
So but here's a reality. All of us, everybody got some Bama in them.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So and I'm gonna put it like a spectrum, right? So on one end you got hot Bamas, and that's you doing that hot stuff, Then on the other side you got cold-blooded Bamas.
Yeah.
So let's start it off, man. Which Bama, or what scale would you measure yourself?
I ain't gonna lie, I'm a hot Bama. Because I get when I do my content, I be feeling crazy. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I do I'm like, I know I was hot Bama for that. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I get that. And to be honest with you, like hot Bamaism, that's some of the funniest stuff, man. Like you ever growing up, you see somebody doing that hot Bama stuff.
Crazy. Yeah.
That DC slang, buddy.
Yeah. Thanks about you, man.
I mean, I could be a mixture of both.
Yeah.
Not to be, tooting my own horn with it. But of course, we all got our moments when sometimes you be like, man, you look like a cold Bama. My son hit me with that. Man, what you doing? You look like a Bama.
Yeah.
I got my robe on or something. I'm just chilling in the house, man.
You ain't got, bro.
Cold-blooded
Bama.
There you go. Oh, man. Yes, sir.
I agree with that. I probably lean a little bit more on the hot side. You ask people growing up with me, they like, yeah, he put that outfit on that time, man. It was a little hot, yeah. So, and I think with that whole process, I mean, I think some of my most cringe-worthy moments in my life, when I think back, is I did some Bama move. I'm trying to think of an example of something that I did. Like, I tell you one where you oftentimes guys get in trouble is when you group of your friends and somebody brings some girls around.
Oh man!
And the dude try to show off, man.
Yeah, that'll pop it out right there. That'll pop. That's a funny because you either go hot or cold in that moment. You either get just too cool, like you know what I'm saying, or you go all the way there and it'll be like, man, he is tripping out right now.
Yeah, man, you did a skit. About a year ago on some change where you was with your friends, man, and y'all was like at a hotel or something.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, like and so talk to us about that. Like, what was the inspiration around that one day?
I just been in that situation so many times. We call them. I think everybody call them that 2-man or what I'm saying, 3-man move.
Yeah. And
we get in there, and everybody cool before the ladies get there. And as soon as the ladies get there, my man my one. I ain't gonna put his name out there. My one man, he just gets so cool. Like, he like, what y'all want to do? Like, he wasn't talking like that before. Like,
exactly.
And then my other man, he's straight to the point. Like, he was like, what y'all here for? What y'all here for? We doing this or not? Like,
exactly.
Yeah, like, yeah. So that's all real. That's all real. I know we all been through that or just been around somebody who act up when I don't know. That's like a game right there, though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
I was I must have been about college age, probably about 19, 20. I was at Howard, and one of my homies from around my way came up, and I knew I should have known better. That because he was prone to do that hot band stuff, and so it was like maybe 3 dudes in the dorm, and then then 3 ladies in there, and it was music, and we was just kind of partying, and it was like, okay, the lights too bright. We only had 2 lights, It wasn't like we had a lamp, right?
Yeah.
So it was either lights on or lights off. So the lights was on. We was like, nah, it's too bright. Let's hit the lights. So then we hit the lights, and then we just hear one of the girls saying, "What is you doing?" And then the lights come back on, and he was just like, I just was trying. She was like, nah, you just tried to pull my pants down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it just blew the whole situation.
Nah, he ain't even cold, baby. He just a cold freak.
Yeah.
He's next level.
Borderline R. Kelly stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that was as hot as it gets.
Nah, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You don't do no touching. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's
you do the Bama stuff on your own time. You don't touch nobody else.
Yeah, that's too much.
So let me ask you this: like, if you think back, like, what would you say? Dax, I'm gonna ask you, like, when was the first time when you ever came aware of like needing to fit in, to not be considered an outsider or a Bama or something like that?
I mean, I could think like back when we used to go to the Go-Go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
We
yeah.
were youngins,
Yeah.
like Masonic Temple days. Chuck. somebody
Okay.
playing. You come in there with your feedlot gear on, everybody chilling. But you got one of your men, he gets in there, he's cool, everybody standing against the wall, Chuck start playing. Man, he doing the happy feet in the middle of the floor.
Oh, yeah.
We just laid back cooling over there for a second.
Yeah.
Oh, nobody
The
talking.
happy feet,
Now,
that's
you the
old,
main
man.
dude sweating and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there going, yeah, this right here.
Yeah.
That's the first time. And I'm like, man, that's peer pressure for me because I'm not doing it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm still chilling. I got on a new sweatsuit.
I ain't gonna lie. I was one of them dudes. I come in the party
dance?
dancing, man. Cause I figured like this, like if all the dudes on the wall and I go dance with the women, eventually I'm close enough to get that dance. You know what I'm saying? So I go ahead to start dancing. I don't care.
That's right.
Yeah, I once heard this dude talking one time, and he was saying that, like, and really getting into like the essence of how shame can damage you from having opportunities. He said that, like, when he was in, like, say, third grade, there was a girl that he liked in class, and he said he was just like done over with liking her. He said she was kind of polite to him, so he maybe read a little bit too much into it. But he told his friends, he was like, I really like, I don't know, Sarah. And so he said one time at gym, sometimes they would have the boys line up on one side and the girls line up on the other side. And he said that his friends told him, like, the school dance or something's coming up. Why don't you go over and ask Sarah whether or not, she roll with you or something. So he said he walked across, just being kind of blind to the fact of, like what he was doing. He said he walked over and was like, hey, will you, dance with me at the dance? And she said no. And he said that in that moment, he said he don't really remember what happened. He said but he said that on his walk back, he felt like everybody in the class was laughing and looking at him. And he was bringing it up because we were talking about how early experiences shape us and our decision making. And he said that, like, from then he made a decision to himself, made a pact within himself that he never put himself in a vulnerable situation where he could be made to feel belittled.
Right.
And so, he was saying that, like, he's lost a lot of opportunity in his life because when it comes to opportunity for him to stand up and do something,
He don't want to get denied.
he don't want to get denied. He don't want to be embarrassed. So that's how, like, the fear of being a Bama or fear of experiencing shame can be detrimental. So I'm gonna ask you, Goofy, like, how did you overcome, like, this sense of, like, oh man, it ain't cool to go up there. You're gonna embarrass yourself. You're gonna you might look like a Bama on that stage. Like, how'd you overcome?
To be honest, you wanna know what it was? Cause I was similar to that. It was never no girl situation, but I was always like just had the super fear of embarrassment. Like, so I always would do that. But one thing that changed me drastically was a friend of mine. He had so much less than me, but he had like not a care in the world. He like, okay, well, they saying I'm this. So now what? You know what I'm saying? Like, so now what? Like, and then he was so much like that everybody loved him. You feel what I'm saying? And I used to look at him like, man, like, I'm walking around here so timid, but you like just completely yourself. It motivated me to be like, you know what? through the embarrassment, through anything else, I want to be myself. I want to have fun like he having fun. And then it took a long. That was in high school when that happened.
Yeah.
You know, before that, most of the people before that be like, he do comedy, like he talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I wouldn't. You know,
that's impactful.
Yeah.
That's something impactful because you learn from that.
Yeah.
And that makes you who you are now.
Facts. Right. I tell him that all the time. Like, you one of the people who made me start doing comedy because I wouldn't even speak, but only my close friends knew I was funny. But I wouldn't put that out. But then you had some people, once that gate opened up, it was wide open. You know. Yeah.
Which one hurt most, Thax? If like when you were growing up in high school, would it hurt more if a group of dudes that you didn't know saw you walking and they were, man, look at that Bama? Or same situation, but it's a group of girls you walking by and they look at that Bama. Which one hurt more? Or is it the same?
I think it's about the same, but I probably lean towards the girls and the dudes. You know, we not really tripping.
Yeah, I ain't kidding.
Dudes, right.
Like,
Yeah.
man, you hating. Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
man, like, right. You a hater.
Gotcha.
And the girls, now that would be shit. That might,
That's a little detrimental.
Yeah. So what y'all like? Why is that like at the end of the day so important? You know, and how is it that like, if you think of like the word Bama has got a 40, 50 year history.
Yeah.
The concept of somebody being, considered a Bama. And when we say Bama, we're not talking about anybody from any region of the country. We're really just talking about somebody who is outside of the norm.
Yeah.
What's considered the acceptable norm.
You looking a little crazy right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To us. You looking a little crazy to us.
Yeah, leaning towards off-brand.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
I think with women being like that specifically matter where it shouldn't, just because we kind of as men we kind of grow up to I want to impress them. I want to be the man. I want to be that guy as a group. Knowing you probably you most likely you're only gonna get one if one of them in the group, but you don't think about all that at the time. You just want to be that guy at the moment. You want to be the movie guy or the whoever.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's why.
Yeah.
I think that's why for real.
Funny.
I never really tripped on dudes. Like I can't remember a time where if a dude insulted me, I cared. You know what I'm saying? Now only time if a dude insult me, I care if it's for something physical, like you can't fight, you can't do this.
Yeah.
But as far as dressing, I'm like, you shouldn't be worried about that anyway.
I ain't trying to impress you.
Yeah,
Right.
like,
I get that.
I ain't never been on that.
Yeah. And I could see that. Like I remember kind of growing up, like you hit some of those ages, you get into 13, 14, and everybody want to dress the same. Like if Jordans was in, like everybody's like, oh, you ain't got Jordans? Oh man, you a Bama.
Yeah.
And so like no
identity. No identity at that
Yeah.
point. You lose your identity.
Yeah. Why do you think what do you think is the science or the reason why like that sense of somebody calling you a Bama, it hurts so much, Can you remember a time like early being called a Bama?
I can't lie. Me, I don't. We probably said it amongst ourselves with our crew.
Yeah.
The dudes we hung around.
Yeah.
But there ain't too many dudes walking about. Like you might say to them, man, look at that Bama over there.
Yeah.
But we don't amongst
Yeah.
each other. That's something we talking about. I ain't heard too many people from afar say,
Yeah.
I
Just come
can't-
up to you and just
Yeah,
say
I
it like
can't- I
that.
can't.
Yeah.
Nah, can we?
I don't ever think
That's
I've been
how
out
work.
that
Yeah,
far out
yeah.
the pocket for somebody. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? To come
Yeah.
say that to me.
That's what
And
undercover DC work.
and
We
most of the
say it
time-
amongst each other, though.
It's funny because most of the time I think the times in which it impacted me, if somebody was saying it third party and they were talking about me third party. Like, so you walk in and somebody next to him say, man, look at that Bama. And you hear it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, and God forbid you ain't in a situation where, you can, step to that person for it as if that was important back then. But,
Yeah. No, it's a tough time. It's definitely a tough time.
yeah.
Definitely. I was talking to. I used to I would used to go to women and figure out what they like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And put that on me, and then I started questioning myself about that. You know what I'm saying about that? But I was like, I was like, I don't know. It's just a thing. Like everybody want to be liked. I think that's a little natural. You know what I'm saying? But it's just a part of that.
But I'm gonna tell you something though about that word though. Mm-hmm. As you travel and you've been around different places and certain environments and cultures, Bama to us is so small because it's really ignorance. Yeah. Because you might think he a Bama, like we used to be like back in the day, not to dog no type of people.
Right.
But when we used to see Jamaicans,
or
dudes coming to clubs with those colorful ties, we'd be like, man, look at this Bama, but he got the baddest bras dancing with him.
Yeah.
We say that right to the folks right up the street. We say that to Baltimore Bamas. You know what I'm saying? Like.
There you go. There you go. Man, you got the gold teeth, yo. You know that, yo.
But it is a level of like we just don't even know what they what they got going on. They probably looking at us the same way. Like what you got going on. Like
I totally agree with that.
Like South and North. Yeah. You go to Baltimore, somebody from North Carolina talk funny, but we talk funny to somebody from North Carolina.
That's
somebody
right.
from North Carolina think Virginia. It's just the further south, the slang change. Man, that Bama talk funny.
Yeah.
We was young. We didn't know no better.
Yeah, I get that. How much do you think? How much suffering do you think is created by people wanting to be liked, wanting to sit inside a safe space?
Crazy amount.
Yeah,
crazy amount. People, I see people every day on social media nowadays ruin their life just trying to be liked, just trying to stay in that pocket. And it's like, bro, you could be so much better if you just be you. You know what I'm saying? You is way better than whatever this character. And you see them struggling trying to maintain a character and, spending money doing it. Like, bro, just do you, bro.
Yep.
And it's I've seen people, growing up that, when they first started to come into the school or moved into the neighborhood, they was different. Mm-hmm. And we might have joned on them, might have gave them a little bit of a hard time, but somehow or another they took it more serious than they should have. I don't know, but and then they become. It's not just because that they represent DC; they become to all DC. So everything got to be all black, and they only wear New Balance. They only got to talk, and everything like they make it such a serious thing that they like. Lose being authentic.
Yeah, they lose their identity.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that's kind of specific to our area, though. Because people in our area, we do a lot of joning, joking, stuff like that. Yeah. But to other people, they taking it to heart. Well, we just kind of raised like that.
Yeah.
We just kind of raised like everything's a joke. Yeah. You might come in the cleanest person the other day. What you gonna?
We gonna find something.
Like you got the best shape up in here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you can't win for losing. But somebody else now they like, all right, I'm gonna get a shape up and come in 2 days after it's done. And then I'm, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna wrinkle my shirt a little bit so I don't look like some. But it's like, nah, do you? That's a part of you. Yeah. So do you, but people will, based on this area, people will be like, I can't win. Like,
yeah,
that's crazy.
It's there's a phrase that to me seems to be kind of the answer to minimizing the amount of suffering that comes from trying to not be a Bama or dealing with shame. And that is to have the courage to be your authentic self.
Yeah.
Like and the way in which I say it, I look at it. You think of pumpkins, right? I don't know if y'all ever remember when you were a kid going to a pumpkin patch, and from a distance, from the school bus looking out, they look perfect. It almost is like when you see like a cartoon or when you get the candies, they're all perfectly shaped, perfect color, look like they were painted. But when you was a kid and you go down to the pumpkin patch, you'd be so excited from a distance. But when you get there, you start looking at them.
Shape different.
And then you flip on this one. It's like, okay, the outside look real good, but then you flip the other side.
Yeah, like a brown little patch and it's slanted.
Yeah. But when you think of like Halloween and going to people's houses, and if somebody did like the jack-o'-lantern and all that, you're not thinking that the jack-o'-lantern that's on somebody's house with the candle on it, somebody took all that time, that it's not imperfect. Yeah. Like, it looks as if it looks perfect. It looks fine, right? Yeah. But when you're trying to pick one, then yourself, you look through and you see all of you overthink it, right? Yeah. And so, like, how does that apply in people's lives?
Yeah. I was just talking to my guy about being authentic and when it starts to vary and how how to pull it back in and just stuff like that. And he was just saying like one thing he said is when he left the DMV, it brought him to be more authentic because he was meeting other people, he was seeing this, he was seeing that, and he realized like, look, ain't nobody perfect. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got their own little thing, so I ain't got to go that far off of my thing to be liked or whatever.
Right.
And I would even do the same thing just if I was in a room with somebody who I thought was way more professional than me, more articulate than me. I would start feeling like I gotta up the notch or just start changing it. But they looking at me like, I love the way you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to get how you are, like, so.
Exactly. It's just like, say when we grew up watching people in the music industry, like, come from where we come from. Like, we used to be up Howard hanging out with your Diddy, whatever. Now, look at how he was accepted around Europeans because he was Diddy being cool, dancing and bopping, getting some money. Now he's hanging in different circles. That's what we look the same way. You know what I'm saying? They love because he was being him. Boy, I can hang around a black dude now. You know what I'm saying? But he's just being him.
Right.
But they want to be like us on the hip hop and global look, saggy pants, all that. You feel me? You understand where I'm going with that?
Absolutely.
I would do that all the time. I would get around, like, let's say I got a comedy show and I got white people there, and I would try to flip to them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, they want to see me. You feel what I'm saying? But I'm trying to flip to them, and I was like, man, I'm trying to use their words and stuff like that. And I was like, you know what? That just got to stop. I just got to be me. And then they started. You could tell the switch. Like they was immediately like, that's what we was looking for. You know?
Oh, man. Hey, I tell you, if you ever had, especially when you were like in your 20s, if you ever had a job where you had to like work in like corporate America, and then your friends or your homies like
catch you up
with it,
and all that on.
Yeah, or they, like, because I used to work on the phone, so they love to just call just to hear me say it in the corporate voice, and they crack up laughing and hang up. Oh, listen to this Bama, man.
That's my favorite thing that I used to do with my mother, because she got a government job. Yeah, she got her government job. She literally trying not to break character. I'm like, Mom, why you talking like that? She's like, excuse me, what do you need, son? I'm like, what do you mean, what do I need? Why you talking to me like that? Like, she'll just hang up though. I'm like, nah, you gotta talk to me like how you talk at home.
Yeah, I don't know what. So we used to, like, if somebody was on the phone, like they was on a business call or something, and like, we all riding in the car, and then you already know we be in the back cracking jokes and making weird noises. Yeah, they try to stay sharp on the call. Cool. Bama moves, you know what I mean? So
you know, my first time experiencing something like that, we had ROTC in school, and then you had to put on that little suit and come in the train. They like, boy, you sharp, like. But you know, when you're in your ROTC, you gotta be on point. Like, if the people see you walking the hallway, you gotta be sharp. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you gotta do the whole joint.
Yeah,
okay.
Like, but you try and be cool. As soon as your man see you, sir, yes sir. Like, come on, bro.
Oh yeah, we used to go in on them shoes, you know. Them joints, the spit shine joints. We let them have it about them. But so that idea of like having the courage to be your authentic self, like, the courage, like why do you need courage to be authentic? And how does that correlate with the fear of being considered a Bama?
Why do you need courage? I feel like after a while you may have seen somebody get embarrassed. You may have seen this happen, seen that happen. And you start to feel like, let me shift over to what everybody else doing. If we all in uniform, then you can't call me out. You know what I'm saying? And then you get so into that, you realize you ain't doing nothing different. Even when I'm talking to influencers and stuff like that, because this like TikTok, right? TikTok, most of the influencers on TikTok are all doing the same thing, but they all want to blow. And I'm like, how do you expect yourself to blow if y'all all doing the same thing? You took one influencer's thing, you know what I'm saying, and y'all all doing the same thing. So it's not, you know what I'm saying, you two uniform, but that one person is going to blow because they decided to do whatever it came to their mind. You know what I'm saying? So I be talking about that all the time. It's, just whatever is accepted is what people want to be you know, but you won't know what's accepted unless you try something.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it too. Like when you raising kids, when you get older, you done been through so much. You looking at your kid, you looking at your son. You like, you don't have to do that because you a leader. You gotta. That's something instilled in our area where this area we come from. It's instilled. And I'm not saying it's like that with everywhere, not other places, but when you raise your kids, you tell your kids, you say, you don't be no follower, you a leader.
Mm-hmm.
So that turns you from doing certain unquote Bama things because you're trying to impress your friends, and that makes you look more of a Bama than you being yourself.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I would say to anybody, just be yourself so you won't have to be called a Bama.
Right.
For real, because a Bama can be used in different ways.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
That's right.
anyway.
That's right.
You feel me?
Yeah. Do you think being, growing up through the black experience in the DC area, do you think it's anything different from anybody else in regards to, needing a different measurement of courage to be authentically yourself?
I think it just go. I don't know, cause I feel like coming up in this area, you also have a little tougher skin to be yourself, cause you learn early on, like everybody gonna make fun of you,
Right?
Everything gonna be everything. So it is a level of, by a certain age, maybe you get to like 10, 11, you're like, man, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like you start to build it up yourself. It's for the leaders. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some people all fall into that group of whatever they fall into, but I think this is one of them cities where a lot of people is themselves. I think,
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. I'm thinking due to so much stuff being on social media.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
a heavy thing
I
too.
think it's probably the same most in all places because you like we talked about earlier. You can go to Alabama, be in Birmingham or Mobile, and in their hoods it's the same as ours. They
That's right.
Their kids the same as us.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? We just talk different.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what
That's
I mean?
pretty much universal right there.
Yeah,
Everybody just may say it different, but it's the same thing going on.
Yeah.
Same.
And shout out to our southern brothers in the Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. Some thorough,
That's right.
clean, educated folks
Yeah.
down there. So much love and respect to them. When you and shifting off of Bama for a minute and just think about bullying. So, growing up in the DC area, I suppose that y'all's experience is the same as ours. Most of the bullying that I dealt with was people who looked just like me.
For sure.
And some of them I even looked up to and kind of wanted to be like them, because they was some of the older, cooler kids. You know what I'm saying? So, like, how do those situations traumatize a person away from being authentic?
It can.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It can.
Yeah.
Because if a person you look up to and respect, or look up as the cool guy, says something to you, when you try something, then all of a sudden you like, I never try that again.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? That's a good what you just brought up about the bully thing.
Yeah.
For most people I know that was bullies when they were younger, me personally, where I come from in the Northeast, I can't think of one bully that's living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where I grew up,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, everybody who was a bully in Bunker Hill, Bacchus, and schools I went to,
Yeah.
they died early.
They sure
I
did.
looked, and then the dudes the dudes that say was a Bama, they have houses paid for.
Yeah.
Yeah, they done got it together quick.
Yeah.
It's funny. And then the same girls who were looking at quote unquote the hustlers was marrying police officers because they learned security.
Yeah.
So break that. That's a deep point that you just dropped right there. Break that down to me. Like, so what I heard you say is that, early in, right? So during those those grade school age, early young adult, the people who considered to be the bullies, most of them are gone. So what does that tell us about like the cycle of like like trauma in our community? Like how does that happen? Why does that happen?
I don't know. I don't know if they're looking at father figures not being there or father figures in there dominating their mothers or whatever. But most of people you should, with aggression, use it towards something positive.
Yeah.
Like most kids growing up, they got an older brother or father that's lunching in the street. They want to be a bully now. You know what I'm saying? Because they see what their father, big brother, was doing.
Yeah.
So they come to school, they might be a little bigger than you, could fight a little more than you or whatever. I'm telling you, the same ones, they're not around.
Yeah.
As you got older, the same dudes we call the Bama, they got good jobs and doing what they're supposed to do. But
yeah,
I mean, that could be with every generation.
yeah.
You know,
We always say you so right about that because it's always your Bama man who got some money now. You know what I'm saying? Your Bama man, like, you're like, hey, I just did what I wanted to do.
Yeah, exactly.
You know I ain't even give you this one. When I was coming up, and we from around our way, and guys out here in Maryland, just say out here in Largo, when all these was woods, man, all my friends in DC be like, man, why you hanging
With the Maryland Bama,
Yeah, nah, I done heard that
And
1,000
guess
times.
Nowadays, you looking at them, they got $1 million businesses going.
There you go.
And you're not doing anything.
That's right.
And that's the same guy used to be like, that's a Maryland Bama.
Yeah.
Stop it, man.
Yeah. Getting into that word authentic. To be your authentic self. You know, what is it, you know, how can a person practice being their authentic self?
That's the hard part because you got to know what yourself is.
Okay.
You know, and then
That's
a lot
deep.
of times when you do that blending thing that happens over time, you lose who yourself is. And then when you try to, like, all right, I'm gonna be authentic, you're like, oh, what do I like? What do I do? You know, like, you know.
Yeah.
I say find yourself so you know that you're authentic. Because we all, some people be 50 years old and they ain't found themselves.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
That's right.
You could be 15, 20 and be around a dude who's 50 and he don't even know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So I just say you gotta wait till once you find yourself, you'll know when you're authentic.
Yeah. And it's when talking about this, it makes me think of like the correlation between our conscious self and our subconscious self. Where, like, you guys ever heard of the fact that trauma is stored in the body? Okay. So what does that mean? It's like if you've ever been, walking, and I use this analogy all the time. Like if I were to say, come down to my basement, we got to grab some material, but the light is out, but we got to walk to the other side of the basement, so it's pitch black down there, right? You don't just walk natural. You're gonna walk with your hands. Yeah. You're gonna slide your feet a little bit, right? And why do you do that? Like, part of your brain is thinking, okay, I need to be careful. I might hit myself. Yeah. But because at some point in your life, you done bumped your head before. You done tripped and fell before. And that was a traumatic experience. So it's not so much like you say to yourself, you don't have to consciously say, let me put my hand out. Naturally, your body just does that as an automatic response, And so you being on the bus, you being new to a school, new to a neighborhood, and, you coming from elementary school to middle school, which was my experience. I went to private school, so every day I used to wear, in elementary school I went to, I wore uniforms. And then my parents had the bright idea to send me to Jeff. Shout out Southwest Jefferson Trojans, which was a whole new world for me. Yeah. I wasn't ready for it, and I didn't, I had to learn a whole new different language, whole new different way to dress, whole new way to fit in, and had to earn my stripes. I was an athlete, so, that was a way in which I was able, I was able to gain some respect. Yeah. And so I say all that to say that, like, even now, there's still parts of me that are operated, that operate my body. Like, it's like a computer. It's like the software that still operates as if I'm still that 12-year-old trying to navigate junior high school. And that's the reason why sometimes you see a guy and he's damn near 50 years old and he still acts like the cool kid in high school. Yeah. The reality is he don't even know he's doing it. Yeah. It's a program in the back of his brain that's operating, because the body has its own intelligence, and so this blocks us from authenticity. So part of the exercise is we have to reassess and reevaluate everything we do. how we dress. Even like here's another one. If I were to take if all of us were to go and drive to the closest 7-Eleven, and there's a whole bunch of cats outside walking in and out of the door, right? As black men in this area, you walk with a little bit more thoroughness, right? Yeah. You screw your face up a little bit. Like you walk with a little bit more don't mess with me, right? Yeah. You need to do a little bit more, a little bit more swag in your walk. Yeah. Oftentimes we don't even realize we're doing that. Yeah. Right? And let's say if it's a lady coming out and her 10-year-old son, and our face is screwed up like that. He's seeing us, and we teaching him to do the same thing. Yeah. Where in actuality, if we're stewards of our community, we would want to speak to her, and shake the little man's hand.
Different energy, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So in that moment, we're actually not being authentic.
Yeah.
And
you're right, because I have caught myself in that cross. You know what I'm saying? To where I was like, all right, I got to be on defense with whoever this is. But then I see somebody who I really mess with, and I'm trying to shake myself back to me. Like, all right, cool. Let me get back to me, because now they gonna feel like I'm off. You know what I'm saying? Or they gonna notice I'm off, and then they gonna get on that time. If I'm on defense, they gonna be on defense. You know, like, so I have had to do that.
Yeah. I see you over there looking at the axe with you.
That's real. Yeah. Like you said, shoot, you just brought up a time when I remember pulling up. Everybody used to hang down on South Dakota Avenue to 7-Eleven, and I remember coming down there one time with my father in the car, and you like you say, you got a little. It's 20 dudes outside, youngins, they're hanging out, and you just like, whatever. I'm with pops, but if you was by yourself, oh my goodness.
Yeah. My new thing is I try to break that tension now, because when I got into comedy, before I was in the comedy, I would never try to do that. I'm trying to, like you say, screw my face up. Right. But the first thing I realized being in the comedy, being in front of like audiences of dudes who do the same thing, I was like, they just want you to speak. It'll break as soon as you speak. You're like, what's up, fellas? What's up? And now it's like immediate decline. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if you don't do that, then it's tight. You know, like,
it's tight. Keeps that bad energy.
But once you say something, it's like, man, what's up, fellas? How y'all today? Man, we cool. Yeah. All right, we cool.
Yeah. Clay, when we like that, just thinking about that, it's like when you see somebody, right? Like, say we older, so we got a certain look to us because we've aged. We got eyes different. We got things going on. But a younger might look at you and think you mad, but that's because they're prejudging. That's why everybody can't say a difference is racism, bigotry. Everybody's prejudiced because we all prejudge. We don't know somebody. Yeah. But when you look at somebody, you be like, he look like he mad, but that might not be that he's mad. It's just the way he looks.
And I agree with you 100%. He might not be mad in that moment, but the thing is that trauma still sits on his face. So like even sometimes if when you're in deep thought, right? Deep thought might look like this.
Yeah, that's not good.
But deep thought doesn't need to look like this. I could be in deep thought like this. But the trauma, somehow or another, the connection of it says that there's a certain way in which that's supposed to look. And again, especially growing up in D.C. and Maryland, where being a thorough dude is at premium. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you talk to even grown men, we value somebody being thorough way over somebody being hard. You know what I'm saying? Hard a dime a dozen. Hard, the dudes that was hard growing up, most of them dead or gone, right? But the thorough dude, a man who stood on principle, that was the people that we looked up to. And they could be some of the nicest guys, but you knew, like, if you crossed them, it was going to be a problem, But even still with that, like, for those of us who aspire to be thorough dudes, we have to reevaluate ourselves to make sure that the thoroughness that we represent is something that's wholesome for the community. Yeah. Like if the way in which you operate would be something where if there were four or five children in front of you.
Yeah. Principles, morals, yeah.
That's real. That's true.
Say it again. All right. So I don't know if we got any last points or thoughts or ideas But I like to think that this was an impactful conversation.
For sure.
That will prompt and inspire some people to kind of relook and reinvestigate.
This
got me thinking.
conversation could go further.
Yeah.
Believe me.
Yeah.
I mean,
It got me thinking on how to be, how much to reconnect with my authentic self. It got me thinking about that,
like that.
the
Yeah.
exercise to do that.
what you
Yeah.
said.
Me too, man. And figuring out all the other ways in which I don't even realize I'm acting like a Bama out here. It's happening, you know what I'm
And
saying?
another thing you
Yeah.
say, that's funny. All of us at the point. I'm gonna say, smile. You
Yeah.
know why?
Yeah.
Because as I've learned, being older too now.
Yeah.
When my grandmother was old, she was 80. She used to tell me, she's like, baby, she said, stop frowning like that. She said, when you get 35, your face is going to be tight.
Yeah.
She said, if you smile, look at yourself in the mirror when you smile, and then
Yeah.
when you frown, you'll be ugly in a few more years. Because your face is used to it.
Yeah.
Smile, man. That's all I got, man.
Grandma
for
dropping
sure.
that science, giving us that love, man.
Yeah.
Smile.
Rest in peace, Grandma.
That's right.
All right, y'all, to the next episode. Peace.